I'm Miss Kennedy. I teach 7th grade English here at LMS. All my life, I've been around education. For starters, my godmother was the principal at my elementary school, and my dad was my gym teacher growing up. And then, so that's where I got to see the background of how school works a little bit. I was really young, but I was able to witness what it looked like to run a school. And then later on in life, my brother met my wonderful sister-in-law. Shout out to the other Miss Kennedy. And she's now the principal of the school she works at. But watching her be a history teacher, watching her stay up night after night lesson planning, watching her get up early going to work, being able to go to work with her, helping her prep her classroom, I started to learn things and pick up things. And a professor of mine was kind enough to give me a job at a high school in Patterson, and that's where it all started. And that's how I got into education. Miss CJ is like my work mom. Last year, I unfortunately lost my mother and brother within a week apart, and she was just very wholesome about it. Like, she cared. She called me every day. I wanted to come back to work immediately. I needed something to do. I wanted to be around my kiddos. And she was like, Kennedy, I need you to just take this time to yourself, to gather yourself, and come back when you're ready. And when I came back, staff, the children, they were like all so loving, and they made it so much easier. Ooh, not me getting teary-eyed. They made it so much easier to just come back. My coach, she's no longer here, Miss Harper Davis, she just was willing to work with me. And I've never been in a school community where it felt like family. And here we're like all one big family. Like, these are like my play cousins, as I like to call them. They're just so loving here. Like, it's just a loving environment. This one floor is magical. It motivates me all the time because growing up, I didn't have the teacher I am now. And if I did, I'm sure I would have probably went further in life and did better in school if I did. So I try to be the teacher that I didn't have. And I know how much I mean to my kiddos because they tell me every day, like, Miss Kay, we love your classroom. We love the vibe of your classroom. We can't wait to see you. If I'm absent, they blow up my email. Where are you? Where'd you go? Where have you been? So I try to go 100% because, like I said, I want to be that teacher. I think about all my children, all 60 of them in total, right? And I think of one key takeaway all of them would take away from my lesson. And then I try to make it engaging because often I ask for their feedback. And sometimes they go, well, the unit's boring. Can you make it fun? Can you make it engaging? So I sit there and I look at the scope and sequence and I'm like, all right, how can I map this out? How can I make this fun and engaging? So that is the question. How can I make this more fun and engaging? What would that look like to them? How would they feel with the lesson, with the content? And then I just study the content for like maybe a day and then I start planning. So I noticed that some of them like music, some of them like art. And we're all pretty much from the same area. So I can relate to them. So I try to change the lesson into something that's more real world, more musically inclined, more movement, where they're not. ELA classes this year are 75 minutes long. Who's sitting for 75 minutes? They're not. So this year I incorporated something called Art and Jot, where instead of writing your exit ticket and writing that paragraph, you may draw a picture and explain the picture with evidence. It's still an answer, but it's not the regular answer you would be looking for, but it still follows the CFS. So stuff like that. Or their lesson was on figurative language. I took one of the rap songs they liked and I turned it into a lesson, and they were engaged, they were singing, they were humming. So I try to make it seem like that is a competition, right? And I go, we want the highest data. And they're like, yeah, how do we get the highest data? So I jokingly tell them the highest data to have it is the secret formula, like in SpongeBob, right? And I was like, everybody wants to be Plankton. And so I make it competitions. I show it on the board. I show them where they are, and I let them know that struggle is good. Because a lot of times when they see the low grades, they get discouraged and they don't want to try anymore. And I'm like, no, we could bring that up and I could show you how. And then that's how I get them engaged. I never make data look negative. Even when it's low and I get discouraged, I never let them know that. So just planning strategically, like, okay, I see they messed up here. And then I show them the data. And then I show them the questions that they got wrong. What made you get this wrong? Can we figure out the misconception together? And now with those reteaches, I'm reteaching and letting them help me reteach. So I feel like when you're a teacher, it's a two-way street almost. And so what that looks like is I'm learning just as much as you. We're going along in the process because I'm not going to always 100% get it right, and you're not always going to get it right. But we work as a team, and that's how my data moves. After lunch is when I really like have to put the gloves on and really like go deep dive in. Because after lunch, after you ate, you have the itis. You're not interested in nothing I have to say. You just was running around at recess. You now have to sit for 75 minutes, like I said before. And so it's like, I got to get these kids engaged. Whether that's me standing on desk, whether that's me standing in the windowsill, me changing my voices. I put a mic on. I do anything. I give them brain breaks, 2 minutes each. Stand up, wiggle your arms. Sit back down, or I put stations together. I do musical chairs, anything to get them engaged. I make them read in funny voices, stand up and read in front of your class in a funny voice. Different things to keep them engaged, because after lunch is when you lose the kids the most. After lunch, or even in the morning sometimes when they haven't had breakfast and they come to school late, you lose them the most, and I have to keep you engaged so we can get through this content together. And so bringing those funny moments in class help them stay engaged. It keeps them alert. It keeps them awake. It keeps them coming back for more. I make them hold their homies accountable. So we have something called Clock That Tea. And what it looks like is when I say clock that tea, if your homie is next to you talking, tell your homie to be quiet. And they really like that. They're like, oh, my fault, Miss Carey, I didn't mean to talk. And I let them do the heavy lifting. I let them do attendance. I let them collect the papers, pass out papers. They like to be involved in everything. I let somebody click the board. I have a bathroom passer who signs the bathroom passes. Like, they like to be involved, but they also know if I'm not doing my work, my job is taken away. And like I said, I make everything competitive because I love to play games. I love to be competitive. So everything's a competition. I think in the beginning of the school year, the deans did a well job of, we have something here called houses, and 7th grade is the house of excellence. We carry the torch, we're blue. And so I feel like our grade level lead and the rest of us, when we put the foundation down at back to school night and, welcome back, we pretty much told them what we were expecting of them. Show up 100%, show up in full uniform. And before my class, my homeroom, which is Juilliard, I love them so much. Before they walk out the door, I say, we're Juilliard. We're better than the rest of them. And I just instill that confidence, those words of affirmation. You're smart. Whatever happened this morning on your way to school, it doesn't matter anymore. Whatever happened last night, it doesn't matter anymore. Right now, it's your job to learn and be a kid, be a student, because you never know what the child is going on, what's going on with your scholars at home. And so I just try to instill that whatever happens here, happens here. You leave it here. If you're having a bad day, you can come talk to me. Just making sure you build that confidence. You look nice today. I like the way you put your uniform on today. I like your sneakers. Your haircut looks nice. Just, stuff like that. It really helps along the way. So right now is a flex day. What a flex day looks like is I normally prep them for the unit, give them a little background information. So right now we're going into our night and We Must Not Forget, which is a Holocaust unit. So it's really dark and it's a lot. It's very heavy. I see the kids' emotions change. So it won't be high energy, but it will be because I like to engage in the conversation. So what you will see is a little bit of dialogue of them talking about what they know from previous years and what they're going to learn today. So we're going to go into, they're going to be sitting in stations basically, and we're going to go through the different parts of the Holocaust. And yeah. Now I'm just going to pass out your packet. When you get it, write your name on it. Go to my direction.
When we get the packet right there.
Go to my direction.
When you get your packet right there.
Yeah, bomb.com. Alright. While you're doing that, I'm going to set up for my lesson. Put it on the board. Guys, Monday, guess what?
What?
Guess what?
What?
Guess what?
What?
We started a new unit. Hey! Oh, nobody's excited. We started a new unit. Yay! It's kind of dark though.
Yeah.
And I just want to make this known for you guys that at any point if you're uncomfortable, please let me know.
we will be talking about the Holocaust. By show of hands, who knows what the Holocaust is? You heard about it last year or at another school? Show of hands, you know what the Holocaust is. Alright. Today we're briefly going to talk about it. I'm going to prep you for our unit today, like I always do. Remember, with figurative language, I did the music, the Lauryn Hill song.
Yes.
Okay, so now we're gonna have another prep day where I talk a little bit with you guys about the Holocaust, right? And we're just gonna go into depth a little bit today. Tomorrow you will get your books. I have to continue to label them. So tomorrow you will get 2 books. How many books will you get tomorrow? 2. Alrighty. Every time you come to class, those 2 books are needed. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Right now you're writing your name once again on your paper. Thank you, my love. Thank you so much for waiting for me. Thank you, my timer. Alrighty. So right now, in this moment, we're gonna put 5 minutes on the clock. You're gonna start your do now. 5 minutes on the clock. I'm gonna walk around to make sure that you annotated your prompt while Aaron was reading, because we already know that we should have annotated our prompt, because that's what we do every day in ELA. So I'm gonna come around and make sure that you annotated your prompt as well as answered the questions. Is anybody confused?
No.
Is anybody confused?
No.
Shout out to Jalen, he's still annotating. Shout out to Slimy, she's has a highlighter. He circled words. Why did he circle words? Who can answer that question for me? Morris.
Because it's probably a word that he doesn't.
It's probably a word he doesn't understand. Is there another reason you circle words? Precious, you want to give it a shot? For vocabulary, words he may know. Great job. Shout out to Morris, he's annotating. So is Jalen. I see Jalen circle something and wrote topic. I like that Aaron circled the word observation. When I'm observing something, I'm looking at something. Right? When I'm observing something, I'm looking at something. Can I have somebody read? The students will be able to. Asmula.
Students will be able to build background knowledge about the Holocaust by
Loud and proud, I can't hear you.
Students will be able to build background knowledge about the Holocaust by examining who was targeted, when and where events occurred, and why the historical period is significant, so they can better understand themes of human rights, injustice, and resilience.
Right. So we're gonna learn about Adolf Hitler today. We're gonna talk about how Jewish people, were treated in concentration camps. We're gonna learn about death marches. We're gonna talk about different topics of the Holocaust. Right now, what I need you to do, I need you to open your packet. Your page you should be on this page after you open your packet. Thank you, Caleb. Thank you, Pete, for asking for clarification. Thank you, Osnola, for tracking me. Thank you, Ade. Yes, Precious? Yes, you may. Precious asked for a highlighter. Does anybody else want a highlighter? Precious, can you pass out highlighters to my friends who have their hands up, please? Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm going to drop that teamwork point. I got to give you guys some points and Dean's list. You guys are doing a phenomenal job. We're not going to start reading yet, so you can just continue to track me so I know that you're following my directions. That would be great. Thank you, then, so you can take your eyes on me.
Okay, the last patient.
3, 2, thank you. I like what Keith did, right? He took ownership, he took leadership, right? He said the first person is gonna stop here, second person is gonna stop here, third person is gonna stop here. That's great group work. Can you all do that? Yes. So as I'm circulating, I wanna see you all do that. Alrighty, so that everybody has a fair chance to share and everybody's voice is heard. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Alrighty, thank you. Go back. I like that you have a method. 3, 2. Aaron and Amani's group, they came up with a system. They said we're gonna read independently first, then read as a group. So whatever systems you guys work, I'm loving the teamwork. I'm loving that you guys are being kind and patient with each other, as well as allowing each other to speak. That's great teamwork and great group work. Continue as you were.
In July,
Same hands, Jalen. What's up, Jalen? Answer it for me.
They couldn't participate in government. They couldn't marry a German, and they weren't allowed to show their own national flag.
Wait, who is that?
Oh, the Germans.
Look at Keith Clark and his teammate. Period. Thank you, Jalen, for sharing. Be sure just a little louder, because I'm sure our friends didn't hear you.
They were strictly
You read at the same time. You gotta read just a little louder. I can hear you, but you want the people in the back of the room to be able to really hear the juicy piece.
You might be screaming out also when he's back.
They couldn't participate in government, marry Germans, or show their own national flag.
You know what I like when he did? What do you think I like when he did? What did I like that he did? Monty. He spoke up? Okay. You close, Aaron.
he went back into the text.
You went back into the text. Everybody talking up for Jalen. Let's have a little bit of dialogue, right? How would you feel if somebody locked you in Juilliard? Not me, but somebody locked you in Juilliard. You couldn't use the bathroom whenever you wanted. You didn't have much food. You didn't have recess. You got stripped away from your mom and dad. Basic needs, like I said, weren't supplied to you. What else? You're cold. You have to work. I'm going to open up your brain. I'm going to see what data I can get, what testing skills I can get from your brain. I'm going to put it in his brain. How would you feel if you were treated that way? How would you feel? Let's open up the conversation. You can put your hands down, turn your voice on. Put your hands down, turn your voice on. So anybody can talk out loud, and then you guys can just keep running it like you run after discourses. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So in my very personal separation anxiety having opinion, I would cry my little tail off. Being separated from my mother, my siblings, my dogs, my cat, my phone, I would cry my little tail off because that's literally my whole life, that's my world, and I would know. Okay,
so keep saying he can't live without his family and his phone. Makes sense.
It got to be understanding, right? Because we always say kids don't learn from somebody they don't like. And I'm very to the point where I'm very understanding. Because I know what my life was like growing up. Some days I didn't have the best days, things happen. And now with the world we live in today, it's worse, right? You have kids struggling with a lot of different things. And so I just try to make sure that I'm open, I'm vulnerable with them so that they know, hey, Miss K's having a bad day. She was able to express that. I can express that to her too. In the beginning of the year, I have a Skylar who cannot read at all. And he was very discouraged. He stopped coming to school. His mom called me. She was like, Miss Kennedy, he gave up. I can't even get him to go to school. So I said, can I speak to him? And I spoke to him briefly. We had a brief conversation. I said, please, I need you to come. I promise I'll help you. And then we came up with a challenge. Hey, by January, you're going to be able to read half a book on your grade level. And so he said, I'm up for the challenge. I said, okay. And now he comes to school. He's reading. He actually passed the CRQ like a week ago. And I was like, look at you. Like, you just got to believe in yourself. I'm going to believe in you. I'm going to help you every step of the way. But you have to do the heavy lifting too. So. You have to wholeheartedly love every moment of it. Even on the bad days, you still have to love your children as much as you do on the good days. They depend on you. You never know how many people depend on you until those random moments where they come in, they hug you. Thank you, Miss Kennedy. Or they go off to high school and college and they come back to you and they go, thank you. I remember when you taught me such and such. I remember when you did this for me. Those little moments matter, but that's how you know you're making an impact.